Hi there, it's Jen from modernmedicinelady.com and the Empathic Woman System, and the word of the day is consent. And I choose this word because as a highly sensitive empathic person, I think it is really easy to sense people's needs, to sense people's pain, to pick up on the stuff that is not being spoken about and not necessarily being expressed, and to want to be of service, to want to make a difference. And one of the things that I realized is that, if you're sensitive and you're picking up everybody else's feelings and you feel what they're feeling, well then, you're gonna want to help them because it will make you feel better, like no shit, Sherlock. Except that the thing is that there's this really funny thing about the universe, which is that there's this thing called free will. And unless we have the consent of another person, particularly an adult with free will, it's really not our place to step in and intervene unless they've given us permission, unless they have consented. Now, I believe that when it comes to the innocent, when it comes to a situation, as I've said before, if you have like a truck barreling down the road and a toddler is running out after a ball, the right thing to do is to run after the child and get them out of harm's way, assuming that you are capable of doing that. But when it comes to adults with free will, we really need to have permission to go beyond that initial sense of, oh, I'm picking something up. And particularly anytime we are going to make a difference for somebody, or we're going to be of service, or we're going to offer help, it needs to be an invitation that is agreed upon and not just something that we voluntarily start to do without somebody's agreement, without somebody's permission. And I mean, if you think about it in your own experience, except in the times where you're literally drowning and, or emotionally, maybe not literally, but either literally or metaphorically drowning, where you really needed help, and it was sort of like you couldn't articulate the help, but you wanted the help, you would have, you probably accepted help gracefully. But how many times in your life has somebody decided what you needed and decided to step in and decided to try to do something, and it wasn't what you were asking for? You didn't consent to it. And how effective was that? So the thing is, it's not effective for anybody unless somebody agrees and unless you have buy-in on the part of the other person. So in my experience, there are a couple ways to work with this. If you see somebody, they're having a hard time, you can always say, hey, it looks like you might be having a hard time. Would you like some support? Would you like some help? They say yes, you have their consent. But if they say, no thanks, I'm all set, that's when you get to turn it over. That's when you get to trust that they have a higher power in their life that is far greater than you are ever going to be, or I am ever going to be. And to also remember your own experience, your own journey, my own experience, my own journey, that if I wasn't agreeing to that support, if there wasn't buy-in on my part, it wasn't going to work. And that's the real thing. It's like no amount of effort and help and support that you can give somebody is going to actually make a difference if you don't have their buy-in, if you don't have their agreement. If they don't want it, they're just going to resist it. And it's just going to be an incredible waste of your energy, of your gifts and your resources. So obviously, as you listen to me talk about this is something I feel pretty damn passionate about. And it's something that took me a while to really understand. I will also say that when I really, really came to understand this and agree to these terms, that I only work with people when I have their consent, I really felt relief. It was an incredibly freeing thing because it meant that I wasn't using my energy needlessly and uselessly trying to connect or do things for people who weren't even asking for it. So my question to you is, Are you getting consent before you're trying to help people? Are you getting consent before you are probing or pinging or checking somebody out or doing a psychic scan? And are you asking for, are you offering, are you inviting, are you waiting to get a yes? And if you aren't, would you be willing to consider making this shift and really focusing on only being of support, only being of help to the people who willingly agree?